Good morning, Kevin.
Does this one work? Okay, this one's working. Test on this one. Okay, it's full. Okay, charged. Thank you.
I didn't see it, no.
Okay, and we know Dan's working. Start with Steve.
Testing 1, 2.
Loud and clear. Thank you. How about John Carpenter? Yeah, he's still.
Testing 1, 2. 1, 2.
Thank you. Jeff.
Good morning, testing 1, 2.
Excellent. We already tested Dan.
Testing 1, 2.
All right, Bill.
Testing 1, 2.
Testing, testing.
Thank you. Bill Color again.
Testing 1, 2.
Thank you. Yeah, you need to have the mic that close. Thank you. I already tested those mics. Thanks. Yay.
Well, Dan, I was checking the doors. Apparently they're locked.
You're gonna be late for golf, John says.
Good morning, everyone. Just a reminder, if you're going to speak, the mics are already on, so please don't tap them, don't blow in them, don't need to be tested. They're good to go. If you're tall or short, you can basically tilt the mic up or down. Barb, notice? Barb. Guess Barb can't hear me. All right, never mind. Anyway, enjoy the meeting.
Okay.
All right, good morning, everyone. It's approximately 9:30, so I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we'll start off with our Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Kevin, start off with determination of a quorum.
Good morning, Board in Summer Glen. Yes, we have a quorum with 6 board members present and Russ calling in on the phone. And the meeting was noticed in accordance of the Florida Statute 720 and the Summer Glen governing documents.
Thank you very much. Just a reminder to everyone, today is a board workshop meeting, not a regular board meeting, so we will be discussing these topics, but we will not be voting on any of these items. So with that, I'll open up for resident input on agenda items. And we have 2 people signed up. First up is Diane Doan.
Good morning, Diane Doan, Lot 559, and I am speaking to F&G's CRF 20260012. It's the pool entry railing. I just wanted to call to mind to the board that we had this, and we had written this up in 2025, and it was presented to the board in June of 2025. At that time, it was denied. And I'm just bringing it up again because, well, for the board to review it again, I was told to bring it back up again. And just to remind the board, too, that we are required to get permits. And so that's kind of a sticking point because we're coming up to October if we do renew, do approve this. And I did write that on the CRF that the hand roll would be considered a pool modification, and an application must be made to the Department of Health as well as a permit from Marion County, which is required and would be our responsibility, Summer Glen's responsibility. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Carol Steck.
Thank you. Carol Steck, Lot 1006. On the same CRF, I would, with all due respect to finance, there is a report from the Finance Committee on that CRF that suggests that the funding for this pool railing, should it be approved, come out of reserves. I believe that is a error. There's nothing, reserves is not for putting in new stuff. Reserves is for modifying, repairing, replacing what is already there. The fact that you have to get a permit because you're putting in something new, it would need to come out of the operating budget. So someone may want to suggest to Finance Committee that they please revise this before it gets on a board meeting for voting if the board should decide to proceed with that project. The other item is the weight bench for the gym. Excited that that's going to get replaced. I wasn't entirely sure from the picture. It looks like it has the feature, but I just want to make sure if you don't go with the particular one that is in the packet, that the old bench had it, and like I said, the picture in this one looks like it has it. Has the little leg bar that you can hook your legs under so you can do sit-ups and crunches. I would request that you please make sure whatever weight bench replacement does have that. The unfortunate thing is that the new ab machine that we purchased several months ago is, in my opinion, the most unuser-friendly piece of equipment ever designed. It is very difficult to adjust. It is constantly getting jammed. I don't know what people are doing with it, but the weight levers, that thing's going to break at some point, I'm sure. So I've taken to doing the old-fashioned, but I like the leg extender. So thank you very much.
Okay, that concludes the resident input, so we can go ahead and move on to the regular business. So item 6A is CRF 2026-0012 for the pool entry railing. So information is in our packet. As Diane already spoke to it, this had come up before and was previously rejected. We did have a meeting with pool controls, and I think Diana just mentioned it, that they said if we did decide that we wanted to do that, they would not be involved with the permitting process whatsoever. They're going to stand off from that process. My notes says, Terry stated the pool resurfacing project is considered cosmetic work and does not require a permit. However, adding a handrail would be considered a pool modification, and permitting definitely would be required. The handrail would need to be connected to the rebar grid in order to properly complete safe electrical bonding, so there's no risk of electrical shock. He said if Summer Glen chose to add a handrail, pool control would not be involved in the permitting process, and that would be Summer Glen's responsibility. So, any other questions, comments?
I remember, Jeff, a little bit when we were talking when I was there. He really didn't like I don't believe he liked the idea of a railing. And I never gave it a thought, but it would be, the one end is in, 2 inches of water, an inch of water? So
Yeah, it would go right out of where it's no water at all down to.
So I don't know if it was he who said it or somebody said, well, what if a kid, does a somersault on that and they're falling into 2 inches of water? Not good. But my biggest problem, obviously, is the permitting issue with this. Do we want to open ourselves up to Marion County and the state of Florida? When you look at the website, it talks about engineering drawings. I don't think the drawing that we have is going to qualify to get by the Department of Health. So it's really, if we took this project on, one, it could stall our pool indefinitely while we're refurbishing our pool. And I for one, don't want to go there. I want to get the pool done in October in the timeline, and I don't want the county to walk in and say, oh, by the way, I don't know, does it open a can of worms? That's my thought.
Yeah, in the conversation we had with Terry, we asked, we don't want to try to reinvent the wheel here.
Right.
They have this contract for all the villages' pools. So we asked them a question about, what do they do in the villages? And they said the villages, only 3 or 4 of the pool, I don't know how many, 100 and some odd pools in the villages, only 3 or 4 of them have a beach entry, and none of those pools that do have the beach entry have a handrail in the beach entry area. So again, for what it's worth, the villages, they do have some beach entry pools. There is no railing in any of those beach entry pools in the villages.
He also talked at the time about if we really felt we needed handicap access. He had been installing the original, or the chairlifts, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
And they were powered by water, and they weren't particularly hard to install, I believe.
Yes.
They cost, obviously, money. It would be new money, so that isn't under consideration today. But he said that is always an option for handicapped people.
right.
I remember him saying
Yeah, this way you don't have any electrical involved. It was the,
they ran by water, right?
yeah, city water pressure, just whatever you have for city water pressure, it operates off of that. And in villages have added those type of handicap lift chairs to many of their pools, but not all of them.
Correct.
And he threw out a number. He said their approximate cost was about $10,000 per unit for the equipment, plus about another $3,500 for installation.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the numbers.
Yeah, I brought my notes with me from that meeting. Any other comments concerning this item?
I have a comment. I guess obviously the vote that was made on this handrail was done prior to me joining the board, but I'm not sure why we're bringing it back up again, to be honest. Thought it was,
Well, a CRF was submitted.
Yeah.
And F&G is making a recommendation to go ahead with it, so
Yeah.
it's coming to the board for consideration.
I believe that it's being reintroduced because at one time, it would have been more complicated to add a railing, but now that the pool is being redone, then at that time, they're going to be removing a lot of surfaces and everything else, so the installation of the railing would be easier and, you know, to do what needs to be done, and I think
well,
that's why they
it
probably.
doesn't sound too easy. I mean, based on the fact that we,
No,
permits are
mechanically.
involved, rebar's got to be tied into.
I'm saying mechanically by the.
Personally, I see
Engineering.
there's too many negatives, in my view, to move forward.
Yeah, it seems to me a classic case where something that would have been, a terrific idea if it was put in originally as part of the overall construction with all the permitting, but it's like a number of things, when you try and do it on a retrofit basis, it becomes very difficult, very expensive, and bordering on the really impractical. So I think that's where we are with this thing. It's too bad that no one came up with this idea when the developer put in the pool, but it's really, really hard. These kind of things are terribly hard to do after the fact in terms of a retrofit.
I mean, even tying it into the bottom of the pool properly, I think there's going to be a risk down the road. Could be at this point. I mean,
Okay. All right, with that, I'm going to move on to the next item. CRF 2026-0013 for restrapping of the pool chase lounge chairs. Let me get to that. So in the packet, there's 56 chase lounges. The restrapping cost is projected to be $115 each, for a total of $6,440, then some touch-up paint, and then pickup and delivery charge for the vendor to do this. So just under $7,600 to do this. This was last done in 2021. So these were restrapped just 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that they're in the condition they're in again.
Yeah, unfortunately, the suntan lotions and sunscreen and whatnot, if people don't use a towel on there, that gets onto those chase lounges, and cleaning it becomes very difficult, and you end up with the severe staining that is on several, if not many, of the chairs out there.
is it the same company suggested here that did the strapping last time? Okay.
Yes, I
think
believe it
that's
is.
right.
I think you're right, Steve.
The ones they did the years in the past, they did a very, very nice job. The vendor was very nice. I was involved with that, and they brought them back, and they were in great shape. So I can speak for the vendor.
They do this work on site, though, correct?
No,
Is that, no?
no, they come and pick them up,
Oh,
take them to,
take 'em
I think they're somewhere in the Orlando area.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the reason for the pickup and delivery charge.
Oh, I see, okay, right, yeah.
Well, it says it says Ocala, but I don't know if that's where they do the work. There was something in our notes about cleaning too. I mean, we can't clean them now, but that we probably are a little bit,
And
a monthly basis. It says
Yes.
it's noted, maintenance of the pool furniture must be done on a monthly basis to prevent the discoloration of the chairs. Obviously, we didn't do our cleaning.
One other comment that I have, I've noticed a couple tables that sit between the loungers have some cracked tops. I don't know if you've noticed that, Diane?
Having a look into it?
Yeah, I mean, it might be something we need to add to this.
I don't think so. We can just, we can just put other ones there. I don't think we need to do that.
Okay.
Buy new, I don't think. We just bought some new, so we're good.
Okay.
Jeff? Are we comfortable that the chairs themselves are in good enough condition that would invest in a re-wrap rather than a replacement? Are they structurally sound and fine?
Come on up, Diane.
Yep, Diane, thank you.
I noticed there was some paint involved.
Yes, they are in good shape. Some of them are a little bit scratched, thus we're asking for the touch-up paint. But structurally, they are very good. They're not, the chairs, I don't know when we bought them originally, but they're not that old. It's just the strapping that's the problem.
And we're only strapping the lounges, right? The
Correct.
chairs are-
Yeah,
Yes.
in fact, I don't remember the year either, but those chaise lounges were purchased with a senior community in mind, so they're a little bit higher height, so it's easier to
Exactly.
get out of.
Yeah.
So when they did the restrapping back in 2021, there was no concerns at all about the structural integrity of the.
No, and my group has looked at it, and there is still no concerns.
Good.
Anything else?
Timing for this would be done same time as the pool is down. right?
Correct.
So-
We've already got that. If you look on the attached invoice, we have a date there. And then they noted October 5th through 11/13 that, that's a time frame that they would come in and pick it up and take it out. So, yes.
Any color options or material options that resist fading or staining, like you do a floor in a certain color to hide all
No.
the sins, No.
No,
It's all-
no. Unless you go with something that's cloth, and then you're cha-ching, cha-ching, so, yeah.
I think to John's point, we should probably see to it that the monthly maintenance gets on the maintenance schedule when the new strapping is
Yeah,
put in.
from the company that's been doing the restrapping, they should give us proper cleaning instructions, make sure we don't use any harsh chemicals that will affect it and
Okay, yeah, I'll make a note
degrade
of that.
the
Yeah.
UV protection that's already on those chairs.
Okay, I will make a note of that. We good?
Yep,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Anything else on that topic?
No.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. CRF 2026-0014, architectural plans for RSO bathroom remodeling. So it's in our packet, so there's some conversations held with one of the contractors and a architect that they work with. And so trying to define the scope of the project, it was mentioned that you will most likely need architectural plans to submit with the permit application to do the remodeling. So the quote that's in our package is from Architecture Studio for $7,900 to develop the architectural plans that would be submitted with a permit if we decide to move forward with this project.
Want me to start?
Sure, go right ahead.
Nobody's jumping in the deep end here yet. Well, I guess I'm not in favor of hiring an architect because when we look at the report from finance, we don't even have money in reserves until 2029. So we'd be spending almost $8,000 for architect plans that we may or may not even use. And then the question is this a want or a need in the bathrooms? So
Well,
at this point in time, I wouldn't be in favor of hiring an architect, but we're not voting today, so it doesn't matter.
you know, I think obviously we don't have any quotes yet, but I think before you go too far down the road is, do we have any ballpark idea what the total ultimate cost of this thing is expected to be? You know, if you're starting with an $8,000 architect and where you go, you know, are we looking at a $75,000 project? Are we looking at a $200,000 project? There's no indication of any estimate of the overall scope and cost of this thing.
So I did get some preliminary, but of course, you know, those were very preliminary because we did not have a scope or an architectural plan or any of these other things. I mean, we just had a list of the things that we thought needed to be done internally by, you know, F&G and that. And it was between 75 and 80 to redo those bathrooms completely. A lot of it has to do with the fact that once you start work on the bathroom of any kind, you have to bring it back into compliance with today's codes. And so make sure that they all meet the handicap codes, which in this case are, you know, we're grandfathered in the way they are, but the countertops in the sink are not at the right height. The handicap toilets are not the right size. And there are things like that that obviously once we start, we have to get into compliance with. And then the biggest expenses are going to be the plumbing, because these are toilets that are plumbed directly into the wall. And, you know, the idea was to get a different type of toilet and to make sure that the urinals had water. And then the floor work, so, you know, countertops, toilets, plumbing. I mean, there's quite a few things that go in there. We started this project early because we knew it was going to have a lot of things that had to play into it. So the only way we can get actual estimates from someone like a contractor would be to actually have some kind of plans that they could actually work with.
Russ has a comment. Russ, go ahead.
Just a question, I guess, for Steve. Did this go to the finance committee yet?
It has.
Okay.
But to answer Russ's question, there's no money in
Well,
reserves
not
for
at this point.
a couple of years out, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the reserve studies are our best estimate of when it's going to be needed to be done.
Right, I understand.
It's,
I mean, it's the same situation with the emulsion treatment on the north side of the boulevard. I mean, you know, it's going to be more than what we estimated in 2022, so, but
Yeah,
doesn't mean you stop doing something for that.
I
yeah.
understand.
We got to remember the reserves are that pool concept, and no individual item in and of itself has, you know, and
Good point.
unless it's a monster that would screw up the ability to deal with others, it gets self-correcting over a period of a few years.
Personally, for me, I think we've got to figure out from a engineering group exactly what has to be done there, because just the simple fact of the toilet change from wall exit plumbing to probably a floor exit plumbing, we all know what that means is concrete's going to be removed and then redone, most likely.
No,
You don't think so?
no, all of the plumbing is behind the drywalls, behind the toilets, goes straight into the wall. The plumbing is all there. We just have to, when we disconnect the toilets, readjust the plumbing to fit whatever new toilets come in. Plumbing on the floor does not change. All of that is just fine. Our biggest issue in there is we always have complaints because whatever that floor was that was installed there, even if we clean it, which we are once a month, and we scrub it down, it still looks really, really dirty. And the other item is these toilets, when they get stopped up, they go into, they're connected to the wall. So if they're stopped up or if they have some kind of a leak or whatever, we do have to call a plumber in. It's not like our handyman can go in there and just tighten a bolt because there's a small leak or a drip or whatever. So it's a little bit more industrial, and we don't think we need that.
So the new toilets that you're talking about
Yes.
that are up to the proper standard
Yes.
for this,
They
for
would,
now?
they would be like the toilets in here.
Yeah, okay. So they would still be
Standard
standard, but
handicaps.
to the wall,
No, they would have tanks in them instead
Yeah.
of being connected to the
but
wall.
still going into the wall and not into the,
Right, exactly. They'd go to the plumbing that's right behind the wall
Okay.
right now, yeah. So
all
regardless, yeah.
all the more reason we need to, I
But-
think,
but
if we're ever gonna do it, we gotta have something. I tend to agree, we gotta have something on paper to show potential contractors what we want done.
This architectural company works with different contractors. And this is where everybody starts. And so when we purchase this, we do have the option of coming back to the same architect when the time comes for the project and, asking for certain changes. There's a certain amount of changes that are allowed when we purchase that. But in order to be able to send it out there for bidding and get true estimates of the cost and what it's gonna be, this is something that you have to have something on paper, and it has to come from somebody that knows all the codes and is willing to stamp it and say, hey, I'm taking responsibility, I know what we need to do, and we're meeting code for this.
Well, I'm going to back up a little bit on what you said, Marie, that I sat in the meeting when the architect was brought in. I'm not sure that your recollection is correct. The architect actually was connected with a particular contractor who was looking at the job.
At this time, that contractor brought that architect in
Correct.
because he
Let me-
worked, but,
Can I finish?
sure.
Thank
mhm.
you.
Yeah.
So you did say to him, well, we would have to put this out to bid. We couldn't. So that's when we asked him to come up with a price for an independent. Because normally he would just design for that particular contractor.
John, all I'm saying is he works for lots of contractors,
Well,
not
I'm
just
sure he
that.
does. He's an architect, licensed architect. But he was originally connected with somebody who was interested in doing the work. I just wanted to bring that out from our meeting.
I mean, this whole project started, Diane, I believe a year ago, when F&G brought it to property management's attention that the restrooms in the RSO aren't being properly taken care of and need some attention. And that soon evolved into, well, we need to do a complete refurbish of the restrooms. Now, we're trying to address some problems, flooring and so on. So, again, we tried to avoid this, having vendors come in, different general contractors come in and give us a quote. This guy quoted these 10 items and somebody else quotes 9 different items, and we'd end up with apples and oranges for a quote. So said, what would it cost to have, we're gonna need architectural plans no matter who we select as a general contractor. What would it cost to get those architectural plans that we could then turn over to general contractors to quote? This is what we're looking for. There may be a couple different levels of grade of fixtures and so on that may be a little bit optional, but here's the basics of, this is what we're expecting to be done as part of the project. So we at least have an apples to apples quote at some point when we're ready to do something with those restrooms. So that's where we ended up with the $7,900 architectural quote. So it's something that would be needed eventually. Would it be used right away? That's to be determined. Whether we decide to do this now, is it urgent enough to get this done to spend potentially, would you say $75,000 or $80,000 potentially to redo those restrooms? Is that a priority for us to do that? But at some point, we're gonna have to do the architectural study no matter what. It's just a question, do we do it now or later? Any other?
Well, I agree, but with no question whatsoever that if we think, we want to go forward, go forward with a project of this complexity, having an architect to provide this stuff is absolutely the right way to address it.
Right.
No, there's no question.
I mean, once the drawings are done, they don't go out of date unless codes change, and, you know, it's not like it's going to have a shelf life on it. So I think if it's going to be done the next 2 or 3 years, then at some point we got to put a roadmap in front of these people that are bidding on it. And so everything costs money.
Yep.
We're spending a lot this year on the pool and the emulsions, so.
The remodeling of the bathrooms, does that come out of reserve?
It would.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have the reserve study here in front of me, but yeah, there is a line item for RSO renovations. I think it's, I can't remember the line number. But yeah, we have to check, you know, again, it's pooled reserves. If we don't have enough on that particular line item, it's a
So
pool.
we have it on here as 2.310 interior renovations or partial for RSO. So that's where it would come from. We have to be wise about how we spend our money, but we are a very strong association and we have strong savings. And so I just want to make sure that people don't misunderstand. When something like this gets redone, it comes from reserves. It's not going to change your current dues in any way. It would come from reserves. So, I mean, it's not free money. So I got to say, I got to remember, you know, it's not free money. But at the same time, these are things that we plan for, and that's when, you know, when they need to get done, we've got to figure out when to do them.
Steve, would it make, does that make sense that the architect fees would come out of reserves, or is that?
As far as I'm
Oh, sure, it's
concerned,
part
it
of the
would,
project.
yeah.
It's part of the project
It's
cost.
part of the
yeah.
project. I
Because
mean,
if you look at his write-up, he also had a bidding and a construction administration. There's another 2,000 involved that didn't show up on the CFR. I don't know why, but if you look in his paperwork,
yeah.
Yeah, that would,
it's actually it's actually almost $10,000 professional fees.
yeah, the architectural plans, which could, once they're completed, you know, they could sit on the shelf ready to go. The two other items, the bidding assistance and construction administration, those costs would come about if we decide to move forward with the project.
The initial cost, though, should be the
$7,900.
79, yeah.
Should be.
He gives us a bid. I think we can hold his feet to the fire on the cost for the architectural plans. I mean, he's showing his hourly rates. I mean, I don't think those hourly rates are outside the scope of what's normal in
Oh, no.
today's society, to be
Not at
honest.
all.
But, and the professional type people that these are, so, yeah.
So I think that when we met with him, what he was saying was, I mean, you can go with anybody you want as an architect, but you're actually buying a product from him. So when you buy this from him, he will help with the bidding process, which is important because we don't always know, you know, if companies are legit or not. And then he will actually help with the construction administration, which means that we will be able to choose quality of products, colors, all that kind of stuff. So for that extra money, he will come back and he will work with whoever wins the bid.
Which pushes it up to $10,000. There's a charge for that.
Yeah.
Later, yeah, not now.
Later.
To be expected, I
Yeah,
understand it.
yeah.
I get it. Time is money.
Could I make a comment from Finance Committee? So Gary Tyson from Finance. I just want to make it clear, like, this did not come to the Finance Committee. So, and I'm a little worried because some of these things we get via email and it doesn't go through the proper committee. The last response on the architectural plans was an email 2 days ago that said a new CRF was created. So I just want you to know that some things we get in emails to like discuss, and in some cases, yes, we can say it's reserves and so forth, but we don't get a chance to have the discussion or where it comes from. And it doesn't get part of the normal Finance Committee minutes, which I'm concerned about. So, because our last minutes were no CRFs, came to our committee, which is true. So I just want to make that point that a lot of these things are going outside the committee, and I'm not real comfortable with it. I know, like, Marie wants to get some things in front of the board, which I agree. So if it comes to F&G first, then it like sometimes just bypasses or goes through an email to us to approve, but we don't get a chance to discuss. Not everybody can respond to it. Some things are simple of just, yes, reserves, but other things are like a discussion of where should this be, or at least we would make our recommendation, and it's still ultimately up to you guys to decide, but I just wanted to make that point.
It did come to finance, according to this.
Oh, it didn't go to the full committee, I guess.
No, it didn't go to the full committee. The chair was the one who responded.
Yeah, Tracy set it up.
Jeff?
Yep.
To that end, both to what Steve's comments were and his comments, I firmly believe that when a project comes to the fore, the evaluation of the project, the discussion of its credibility, or how important it is, how much we want it, the question of how it's going to be funded is absolutely should be off the table in terms of the deliberation of is this a good project, is it a bad project, is it a want, or is it need? Once something passes the hurdle that says, yes, the consensus is we should go forward with this project, then and only then should you say, okay, now how are we going to fund this project that we want? Is it practical now? Because no matter how hard we try, the concept in the back of everybody's mind is reserve money is free because it's not going to change the current assessment. And I think that's absolutely wrong because every dollar that we spend comes from the same place. And the only difference between reserve spending and non-reserve spending is timing. Is it today or is it what money that has been paid in a few years ago or is to be paid in the future as you go into rolling forward of funding the reserves? But that really has nothing to do with the true evaluation of is this good or is this bad, is this necessary or is it a want or need? All of those kinds of facets should not be clouded by, well, we can maybe pass this one because it's a reserve that's easier. I think that's a huge mistake, and we should, try to stay away from that as much as we can. That's just how a philosophical feeling, because you can cloud your judgment, very badly. There's some things that everybody's totally happy to do it because it's going to be reserves, but if it were going to be paid this year, all of a sudden it becomes a serious issue. But that doesn't change the nature of the project. To evaluate a project, you evaluate the project and then go forward with how you're going to fund it. They're two separate decisions, in my opinion.
And I get it, Bill. And what resonates in my mind is the fact that we have another issue at the RSO as far as locking the building. And we don't know what that's going to cost. And to me, that's a need.
Right.
And this is but the bathroom remodeling is a want or a need. I'm not sure where I rate that yet. But I need to prioritize, and that's the elephant in the room is locking that building. And to me, that's priority number one. Mm-hmm. This might be priority number 2 or 3. But we don't seem to get things in the right order. That's just my feeling.
I agree, Chuck.
Well, the only reason we don't have it in the right order is because that locking project is a lot more complicated and we've had to reach out to a lot of different vendors to try to get a pricing. And again, I don't want to bring something to you for consideration when we don't have all the ducks in a row and we don't have apples to apples. And so we've there's been a lot of discussion about the locking system and whether the locking system for the building is going to be done all by itself, or whether it's actually going to include a little bit more and involve things that have to do with the back gate and the front gate. So still a lot of questions there. This is something that we started over a year ago, and we finally came to the conclusion that we couldn't do it ourselves and we needed a professional to do it. So we have it now, and so I brought it to you instead of holding on to it. The locking system is the next thing. The aim is to bring that at the next workshop next month, because it is a serious priority, but there are so many decisions that still have to be made there. And in order to get the cost involved with all the different decisions is what's really slowing the process down.
I understand, and I appreciate what you're saying. But back to Bill's comment, the money's coming from somewhere, and where do we spend our money first? That's my concern, because, the money isn't growing on trees, folks. It's coming out of our pockets. That's right.
Well, the way I see it with this bathroom situation is, obviously, there's already a year and a half's worth of work gone into this, trying to figure things out. This is going to probably take another year and a half to get all the bidding and all of that and agree to what's going to be done. That's not going to happen like right away. So this is just preparing the document that will be needed in order to be able to send it out for proper bidding, apples to apples.
John, you're absolutely right, because the locking system is one lurking out there. You got the whole question of a functional camera system out there.
Good point.
And then you have the huge monster of how is the best way to deal with the back gate issue with the added pressure soon to come to bear back there. So there are very significant things that have to be considered. Obviously, they're not short-term projects, but in the context of looking at something else, knowing you've got those kinds of things which are much higher priorities in many cases, they should temper how we relate to current projects.
Okay. I guess I'll make one final comment. Again, want versus need versus prioritizing things. Is this a project that has some value to the community? Absolutely. Is it a top priority project right now? No. When we've probably already wasted way too much time over the past year messing around with this rather than taking care of some of the more priority projects that end up getting set on a back burner because, well, those take a lot of time. Let's work on this one. Maybe we can get this one through quicker. We can't do that. We got to prioritize what we're working on. There's only so many hours in every day. Let's make sure we're working on the top priority projects, not something that's maybe we do now, maybe we wait 2 or 3 years. We got more pressing things to be working on. That's my final comments on it. Okay, we'll move on to the next item. Item D, CRF 2026-0015, patio lighting for the restaurant. Sure, go ahead, Russ.
You're on, Russ.
Okay, so patio lighting. In the last 9 months, there's been a lot of discussion about this topic. And so aside from getting into the weeds and doing a complete lighting study and an engineered study and coming up with whatever kind of a plan, spending money, what's your options? Do we hardwire? Do we go solar? Do we go on the building? Do we put some pedestals up? Believe me, I've had 30 suggestions of how this should happen.
I believe that.
So Tom Hutchins has actually been working on this, and he did this for a living, these lighting studies and stuff. And we can really we can go overboard and do a lighting study and what have you about what the perfect solution is to patio lighting until we change something and put a pergola up or whatever the case. So Tom actually was at a restaurant that was using this lighting that we've suggested here, and he actually was very positive comments about it. And you know, to me, it was an inexpensive way to get some lighting out on the patio, and we can evaluate once we have it there. You know, again, this time of year we don't need it, right? This goes into the fall, winter months, really. And if there's events, you know, going later than that. So this was something that was an easy, inexpensive fix for lighting the patio. Is it something that has to be plugged in every single night? No, this time of year, again, we probably don't even need it this time of year. I've heard comments about, well, you know, the restaurant doesn't really want to bring them in, and well, they're bringing in the ketchup, mustard, and salt and pepper every night. Grab a light and go walk in with it, you know.
True.
So, again, this just kind of, it's up for consideration. Is it the absolute perfect solution? I don't know. I want to stay away from any permitting. I want to stay away from any hard wiring. Again, if we go down the road of a 10-foot pedestal that's solar, you know, we run the question again, does it really need to be permitted? I don't know the answer to that right now. So this was a simple solution. That's all I had.
Okay.
Russ, have you talked to John as far as taking them off the table and charging them?
Yeah, not interested.
Not interested?
Yeah.
Well, who's going to do it?
Well, good question.
That's my question.
Well, I mean, again, it's their business. So if they take the ketchup and mustard off, grab the damn light, take it off. I'm sorry, but you know, I mean, I'll take them out and charge them. I mean, they don't need to be charged every day. Not everyone will need to be charged every day. You know, this is just such a simple thing to do, but you know.
Russ, was there ever a question about removing a couple of those, I'll call them carriage lights, and putting floodlights in the existing wiring, or was that never discussed? I know you said you had 30 ideas. Maybe I got the 31st.
Which carriage lights are you?
You know, the ones that are already on the building,
Yeah, the wall-mounted ones.
wall-mounted ones, just replacing the fixtures with a couple of floodlight type things. Was that
Yeah,
ever?
we could do that as well. I mean, you know, that should not need a permit when you're just replacing, at least I would hope not, Jeff. I don't know, Jeff.
No, I think a simple fixture replacement. If you have to do any
Yeah.
rewiring, yes, but if you just
Yeah.
taking one fixture off the wall and putting a different style fixture on there,
Yeah. so
Most
a
likely
couple
that would
of
not
floodlights
require
might
permit.
work, you know, unless you're the person sitting at the table staring at the floodlight, you know.
Well, they'd have to be directed
Yeah.
down.
You know, again, I mean,
I know.
you know, we could certainly do that in conjunction with this style of lighting. You know, again, if it doesn't work, it's $500, you know. If it works and maybe we trim with some of these in the future, we may still need a few of these in the future, but you know, to trim lighting a little bit. You know.
who actually spoke with Tavern at the Glen? Diane, do you know? Did Tom Hudgens talk to Tavern at the Glen?
I don't know.
Sure, Jeff. I did not have a conversation with him about it. We were.
All right, Kevin, maybe you can have a conversation, because if they're not willing to take on, I mean, this is going to help them with business out on the patio.
For sure.
And if they're not willing to take a little bit of ownership to it, to bring them in and get them charged, you know, if you don't take them in at night, they're going to walk away.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're going to have to bring them in each night. if, there's no event going on like this time of year, if the restaurant's going to close at 8 o'clock in the evening, there's no need to put them out at all. But when we get into the winter months and it gets dark earlier, during open hours, then it would make sense. If there's a special event going on, it would make sense. But if they're not willing to take any ownership of this to help grow their business, then why even go down this path? It just,
I'll speak with John on it,
Okay.
see what his thoughts are.
all right, anything else on that item?
No.
Okay, move on to the next one, which is the weight bench replacement for the gym. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Russ.
Steve, so these next few items, you had told us that they had not gone through finance yet, correct? Or have these now cleared finance before they hit our agenda?
Are you talking about the lighting?
No. I'm starting with the weight bench and the tree trimming. These next few line items we have,
Yes?
so have they all hit finance yet or not?
It is, I don't see it on the file that Tracy normally fills out with the Finance Committee. But I think this one would fall, I mean, it definitely still falls under reserve. I mean, like the rest of the equipment that was there and replaced earlier this year. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't see it on here. I thought that Tracy saw this, but maybe I'm incorrect.
Okay, I guess we just need to, it'd be nice to know what, as we go through this list, these next few items, did they hit finance or not? So, okay,
Well,
thank you.
again, going back to our previous
Email.
conversation, I think at this point, it's a workshop item, we're not voting on it.
Yeah.
So right now, we're really discussing, is this something that really we want to proceed forward with or not? When we come to the August board meeting for voting, it should have definitely gone through the Finance Committee at that point with their recommendation as far as proper place for it to be charged. Right now, for our discussion, don't really care whether it's reserves or what particular line item in the operating expenses. It's just, is this a worthy project to go to a board meeting? That's kind of my take on what's in our packet today.
As a follow-up to Carol's comments in the beginning, I mean, the photo that I see, I believe Fred Waltz, submitted this from Amazon. It looks like it has the leg
Yeah, it does.
support piece, so for doing sit-up crunches, whatever you want to call it, yeah.
Somebody wrote,
It's a much better price than the other Fitness Smith.
oh, from Fred,
Says-
he said if it was his money, this is what he would buy.
Right.
Right.
So the one there, the first picture of the actual unit
Yeah.
is from
Amazon.
Amazon.
I don't know anything about weight benches, but I know Fred does.
Right. So Fred was the one that said it doesn't make sense. Fitness Smith does not need to maintain a bench, which would be a bigger cost. Plus, their bench cost a little bit more, and then they were gonna shipping and installing and all that stuff. This one from Amazon is just a portion of the cost, and Fred would put it together, and it does have that leg area that that Carol's asking about. So.
Yeah. And the previous bench that has now been taken out of service was donated by a former homeowner.
That is correct. It was a donated home piece of equipment, not a professional piece of equipment. And it broke. We were fortunate that Fred caught it and nobody fell off of it because of the broken metal. And so this is what he suggests for replacement.
Any other questions, concerns? I mean, it seems like a pretty straightforward item.
Yep.
Okay, next up is item F, which is the diversified tree trimming for golf course. So there's, in our packet, there's 6 items on here. for a total of $66.50. I had a few questions, Marie. You and I talked about this a little bit already. Number 3, my big question here is trim and elevate trees going over cart path on hole number 14. That's Cypress's responsibility. It's in their contract to keep the cart paths clear for
15 feet,
cart, yeah,
15 feet?
12 feet, whatever. It's so that it doesn't interfere with cart traffic and it's not scraping up against everybody's golf cart roofs and things like that.
That's a tree removal on here that he's suggesting, not trimming.
Well,
No, it says number
trimming.
3, trim and elevate trees
Oh,
going
I'm
over
sorry.
cart path on hole number 14, $1,800.
I drove by there yesterday. I have no idea what they're talking about. I could not see where that requirement comes from whatsoever.
Well,
There's no obstruction there.
a lot of the trees do need to be trimmed on the cart paths, I would think, because
17's one of them.
Yeah, and that.
number 1, actually,
Yeah,
will hit
and,
your
and
cart
that
roof.
is part of the Cypress contract. There-
Yeah. No,
So
nothing.
we shouldn't be getting separate quotes to have this, so we'd end up paying for it twice. We already pay it in the monthly contract fee with Cypress. Why would we be hiring another company to do things that Cypress is already supposed to be doing?
So that takes $1,800 off this estimate, basically.
The branch has to be higher than 15 feet. If it's higher than 15 feet, then it's not cypress.
But then it's not a problem either.
Well, not necessarily. It could be a branch up there where it has to be cut off the tree, but the branches,
Well, it just says elevate the trees, so I don't know.
oh, that's all I'm saying. It's 15 feet is the variance. You ready, Bill?
What's there with that?
Marie, I noticed yesterday on a little ride around the community that there were quite a few branches and things trimmed off of trees already, and some were right there. Actually, they were over near Jeff's house in front on.
So this is
Who-
United Land doing it.
That's United doing
Yes.
that.
So
Okay.
when, the last time we met with them, we were very specific about making sure that they were going up as far as they do. I believe that Jeff said, you need to get a pole and measure because you haven't been going up far enough. So I do.
No, that's
believe-
something they suggested themselves.
Oh,
They can
okay.
get a piece of PVC piping.
Well, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They did it, and they're out there now, and that's what they're doing, is measuring and making sure that they get the height that they're supposed to get. And you're correct. I think it was Kevin, the regional
Correct,
manager,
yeah.
that suggested that. So
United-
it's, yeah,
Yeah, United does common area trimming,
correct.
and
Right.
Cypress does golf course trimming.
Yeah. So the
Basically.
tree removal, that's not part of a Cypress
That's
contract.
all
That
separate.
trimming, so it doesn't interfere with cart traffic is, but
Dead trees.
dead tree removal, so that leaves
We'll clarify that.
five different items on here.
Yes.
And that would be repair and maintenance of the golf course. I think it's noted on the,
We'll clarify this for the,
how much
So,
money's
you know,
there. I
rather
don't
than avoiding having all of us board members go out on the golf course to look at these, it'd be nice if we had pictures in our packet.
we're going to get pictures, yes, sure.
Do you know how much money's left in that account?
Doesn't matter.
Repair and maintenance?
It's
It's-
noted here. I will
55523?
Look.
I'm just curious. It's not important. If the trees need to come down, they need to come down.
And then, I don't know, 5 trees, I think there's probably more than 5. I don't know how we might have missed a few as we were going around. Probably be worthwhile to have one more go around, make sure we've identified all the dead trees on the golf course, so we
There's a
get them
dead-
all.
Michael, where did this list come from?
So this is from Anthony and Diversified. He rode around with Patrick and Tony, and they marked trees. Now, this was done probably over 2 weeks ago, so, you know, I don't know. There may be, and I'm sure, like I was saying to Jeff, you could send 3 different people out there, and 3 different people will have 3 different counts, because some people, we don't all see the same thing. So we're trying to approach it on a phased thing. We'll go back out, we'll assess it again, and then we'll have a better detail, and I'll have pictures for you as well.
Right behind lot 45, there's a dead tree on the golf course. The tree is leaning towards the guy's house, the one I mentioned to you about.
So that'd be
On
hole number 12?
12, lot 40, right behind, almost, well, my lot's 46, right before I get to mine.
46? Because I can
Mine-
never see it, but
But look at 45, that's
Okay.
where the tree is.
All right, we'll look at that as well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and add to the list the tee box, I think it's the white tee box for hole number 15. There's a dead palm there.
absolutely.
Gentlemen, with regard to 55523, presently, there's, through May, $38,250 left in the budget of $40,000 for the year. So very little has been spent to date.
Good.
For
Is,
R&D.
Steve?
Okay, so,
Yeah, Gary Tyson for finance and golf. Yeah, but the board just approved 30,000 for the nematode treatment,
so
so
that's
that
the
comes out of that
30,000
budget.
yeah,
So after
that's
this,
right.
we're pretty much have used the
Yeah, it's gonna be
repairs
used
and
up.
maintenance, so that's an FYI.
Yep.
good point, Gary.
I knew that one.
So that will take that down to almost nothing, pretty much.
Again, we may have to prioritize this, and if we have trees that are dead and it looks like they may fall over and cause some damage to property.
Or a
We need, or a person, yeah. We need to address that, whether we're overspent or.
I agree, yeah, if it's a safety hazard, we gotta deal with it right away.
All right, so we can get this list updated for the board meeting in August? Okay, next up is 6G, proposal for removing 3 pine trees at the annex, as well as doing all the palms that are located in the cul-de-sacs. So let's start with the 3 pines at the annex. So in a previous board meeting, we approved 6 pines to come down at the annex building. They came out to do the work. They took 3 of them down, but recognized that the other 3, they didn't have their proper equipment with them on that day to do the other 3. They actually needed a crane based on the location. So they did not do those 3 pine trees. They only did 3 of the 6. And while they were on site, they did 3 that were over by the golf course irrigation lagoon. So they did a total of 6, but not the 6 that we originally authorized. So this first part is to finish up the 3 that were not taken down by the golf annex building that is threatening some property that's right in the first house that's the end of the row there for the attached or not attached arbors, but the cottages. Those trees are right over top of head. We're heading into hurricane season here. We really need to get those down before they come down in a windstorm. So any comments about those first 3 pines? I mean, this one, we had already approved this, but the money was spent on 3 other ones.
3 other trees, yeah.
So again, I don't want to delay. I don't know when the next windstorm's going to be. So we're living on borrowed time here. So I'd like to go ahead and get Conrad in here right away and do the work that the board originally approved. And that cost is going to be the $2,050.
That was Conrad's price?
Yeah, that was Conrad's. Let's see. I have some notes.
I got it here. I forgot. I'm getting confused about it. It's different. Yeah, 2050.
Yeah, 2,050.
Yep. Well, we don't really need the board. that
No,
doesn't have to go to the board.
we've already approved it one time. It's just what we're going to have to approve is
We're going to pay a second time.
yeah, for the 3 that we didn't approve originally. So that's what we're going to have to approve.
Okay.
So just for reference, we had a $25,000 budget for 7021972 tree trimming. And to date, we have used just over 2,000 of that money. So there's still money in the
Yeah.
budget for tree trimming.
Okay. Then the second part of that is trimming all the palm trees that in the cul-de-sacs. So in the former contract with Floor Lawn for landscaping, this was a optional item that we exercised each year to have them do that. It's not part of the United Land Service contract because these trees are above the scope of their work in the contract. So the quote is to trim all the palm trees in the cul-de-sacs for $5,700. This is long overdue, but I have a question on the counts. We have 18 cul-de-sacs. There's 3 palm trees in each of the cul-de-sacs, so that's 54 trees. And we know one of the cul-de-sacs has had 2 trees already moved that were never replaced, so that puts us down to 52 trees. I don't know where the 57 is coming from. But again, it's $100 per tree, so let's just make sure we have the correct count, and then at the board meeting in August, when we approve this, we're approving all the cul-de-sacs with the correct count of trees. Any comments, questions?
Jeff, I was looking at the old Cypress contract, it's still on our website. They mentioned
You mean floor lawn?
Floor Lawn, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not Cypress, Floor Lawn, I'm sorry.
That's right.
They mentioned trimming 368 palm trees. What were they talking about
Those are along 20th Avenue Road,
out front?
out front along the berm.
So that's obviously not in United's contract.
No,
So technically, when we get around to trimming trees, it's gonna be $37,000 to trim palm trees, not $5,700. And I apologize to the community because I sat here and voted for the United contract, and I did not realize that was not in there. I just the committee looked at it, I thought we had apples to apples, and we didn't. And I apologize to the community, because we're gonna pay more and more and more. And that's on me.
yeah, I don't have the old floor lawn contract here as far as how much that optional service was, but this is one of the things, looking at the potential, do we want to, rather than bid it out as a separate item each year, do we want to talk to someone, a tree service company that would, we'd lock them in for a 3-year period to do all this trimming? Maybe we can get a better price rather than doing a ad hoc, hey, do these 10 that for us now, do these 60 for us another time. But as far as inside the community, this addresses all 18 cul-de-sacs.
Which you say definitely need it.
Yeah, and I don't think they were done last year either.
I suppose there's a broken one hanging in the pool again. Broken hanging. Is that true, Diane?
Yeah, just a frond.
One on the front, yeah. And we just trimmed those, right?
Yeah.
They just keep breaking.
Windstorm might take care of it.
Don't sit there, right?
It's not big.
Okay, anything else on that item?
So you would like for me to remove the pine situation, because we're gonna go ahead and do that, right? Or do you need?
Let Conrad know to come back and do what the
Needs-
3 remaining trees that we approved, to come back and do those, including the stump grinding.
So you don't need
And
that
then we're
portion?
going to have, at the August 13th board meeting, we're going to have to approve the additional cost for the 3 trees that they cut down.
Okay.
Okay, move on to the next item then. Cupolas and vent cleaning proposals for RSO Grand Hall and Restaurant Building. So this is actually at the top of all our buildings, the steeple-like, Churchill Downs type cupolas that are top of the buildings, as well as some of the vent hoods. This is to clean them up and repair and repaint as necessary. So in our packet, we have all the different options here. So we've got 2 quotes, is that right? Constantino
Yes.
and Park Place.
Okay, on the first page, somebody wrote reserves on there. I don't think that's going to be the case with that. This-
No, that's our
Yeah,
number.
this is just repairs, so I'm not really sure where that little note came from in blue ink.
Is painting part of reserves? Because there would be some painting here. So I didn't know if that portion would be covered under reserves or not. So apparently those green areas on the cupolas are not really brass. It is a painted green material. And so,
Painting is maintenance,
okay,
as far as I mean, somebody correct me on that, but
painting a building?
The exterior of the buildings, there is a separate line item for painting the exterior of the buildings. There is a separate line item for doing the roofs, shingles and whatnot. The cupolas and everything else, I don't know if it fits into either one of those or not.
I mean, obviously, we could say it's going to fit into one of them, but it's still a maintenance issue.
Yeah.
So we can decide. I don't think it's ever been done.
No.
So it's as it was from the beginning, yeah.
I would suggest for future reference, but nobody will ever remember, when the cycle comes to repaint or re-roof one of the buildings, it should include taking
Doing
care of the cupolas all inclusively. The cost will be dramatically lower if they're already up there
Right.
with all their equipment and everything. To do it on an ad hoc basis like this is probably the most expensive way to get it done. But we're here now, but I think going forward, whenever you do a major project on a roof, including the maintenance or whatever needs to be done on the cupolas, should be done in conjunction with it as part of the same contract.
You're right, we won't remember.
After the fact, it's always easy to be smart, yeah.
So did they actually go up on the roof and evaluate structurally how are these things doing? Is there big cracks up there, pieces falling off?
No, I don't know if they went up or not. They were given the opportunity. They spent time on the property, but I did not physically see them go up. From what I'm understanding is up on the cupolas and the cupola roofs, it's a lot of like bird poop and just the fact that it's like the paint that is on there that's supposed to look like a verdigris green color is chipping, and it has some areas that are that are failing obviously. But so we did it. I asked for each section to be bid out separately so the board could decide what they wanted done and what they did not want to do.
So my other question would be, Marie, do you have any experience with either of these contractors as far as
So
quality of work?
Constantino, I hear, has done a little bit of work here, and Park Place Services, I'm very aware of them and have history with them. They do all of the buildings that over at the villages. So if it has to be repainted, they do that.
Okay. I was just curious about, quality of work.
I think Constantino did all of the original painting in the project.
Correct.
I think
Oh,
that's
okay.
right.
All the houses, all the buildings, Constantino.
Okay.
He did them all.
All right. See, Dan, that's why you're here.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so is there any other information the board needs before this comes on a regular board agenda?
We just need to decide how we're going to pay for it if we do. I mean, I think it has to be done because it does look unsightly, but, we have $15,000 in our community improvement budget, and to date, we've used none. I don't recall anything that's going to go into that at the moment, but, obviously $15,000 is not going to completely cover the quotes.
Kevin, didn't we have a leak in at one of the cupolas? I can't remember.
No, not to my recollection.
No? Okay.
No. I mean, if we did, it was minor, but it's nothing that's sticking in my memory.
Okay. All right. I thought I remember a comment made about that we did have a leak, and I just want to make sure.
I think we suspected, but I don't think anything ever came of it.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Right.
on my radar.
I guess, Marie, just as follow-up, so we have the answer for us at the August meeting, ask them if they did go up on the roof and do an actual inspection, and if they see any structural issues. I mean, they both say that they will prep the cupolas, and they go on to say tape off all windows, cover roof with plastic, et cetera. Do these quotes, if they get up there and find that there's rotted wood that needs to be replaced or whatever, is that included in this, or is that going to be over and above?
No, that's going to be over and above. This is more cosmetic, and if you had any rot or anything like that, then that would be, it's sort of the same way if somebody goes to do your roof. They quote you for a brand new roof, but if you have a lot of that subflooring on there, under the roof that's messed up or rotted, they charge you per whatever they have to replace.
When we had the roof done, don't you think they inspected that?
I don't know.
Well, they sure should have.
They should have.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah.
And also, I would suggest, any caulking needed when they're up there, maybe if anything needs to be sealed, maybe that's an extra cost, but we need to get that ahead of time. I remember when the roofs were being done, and I had that question for them, like, do you guys inspect the cupolas and all that? And they said, no. What they're looking at is basically the flashing, where the roof meets the cupolas themselves. So they make sure that's all secured, but anything up there, no, they weren't messing with anything else.
So it sounds like they did an inspection from the ground. I mean, some of these companies use drones, not that I'm a big fan of drones flying around in our community, but a lot of companies use a drone to go up and take pictures of something like that.
I didn't see any of these guys going up there when we met, so I don't think so, unless they did it
But
when we
it
weren't
sounds
watching.
like it was just a little bit of a shoot from the hip quote.
The roofing or this one? You're saying?
This one.
Cupolas.
The cupolas.
Oh,
I don't want to go to the August board meeting and approve whatever it is, $15,000 or $20,000, and then when they get up on the roof, they say, oh man, this is completely rotted out, we're going to have to replace this whole section, and now it's going to be an extra 10 grand.
no, I will get the information from both of them, but I didn't see them do it. I don't know. I'll get the information and we'll put it on here and make sure that caulking is included and that they'll let us know if there are any other problems they see when they're up there.
Before we award the contract.
Oh, so you want them, okay, I'll have them come out and inspect.
Yeah, because I don't, right now, we don't really know, if they haven't been up on the roof, we really don't know what the actual
Right.
condition of those are.
I can't tell you that. So I'll touch base with both. I'll ask them both to make sure that they inspect personally and let us know if there are any other, we don't want to have any surprises.
Right.
So, okay,
Right.
got it.
No surprises.
Okay, anything else for that item? Nope, okay. Item I, hardscapes estimate for repair main pipe behind Memorial Garden, sinkhole repair on hole number 18, and community drain cleaning. So we have separate bids from hardscapes on this. Let's try to attack these one at a time and try to put some priority to this. So we have the sinkhole repair at hole number 18. So,
Needs to be done. Obviously needs to be done.
yeah, which, I'm looking to see which, so that's the
That's
estimate
57.
number 944,
Correct.
hole number 18.
There's definitely a hole there. I saw it.
Okay, so they're gonna be in there with this rubber track mini excavator. Should we address the outfall area from the roadway drains on the main boulevard that's over on the, if you're standing in the roadway facing the green for number 18, on the left-hand side, the DRA, the water comes down from the storm drains and spills out into that DRA on the left-hand side there. As long as they're gonna be in there with an excavator, do we want them to also do the work on clearing out that area so the water can flow and doesn't back up into the main boulevard when we have a heavy downpour.
Oh, it's partially plugged, but the outflow, right?
Yeah, the outflow, it's clogged up so much that when water's rushing down out of the storm drains, the catch basins, it can't flow out fast enough, so it backs all the way up and floods the street.
That would make sense.
So they had included that, I believe, in the last estimate for the drain cleaning of the community, but what I'll ask is that they bring that into this one, and let's just address the
Yeah, just let
18.
that one, since they're gonna be in that DRA, let's get that DRA corrected.
Okay, I will ask
Should only
for
take
that.
a couple of minutes, yeah.
Yeah, shouldn't be a big deal. All right, any other questions about the number 18 sinkhole?
So just to be clear, we have in the landscape budget, a DRA maintenance line item. Budget is $75,000 for the year. No money's been spent through May.
Thank goodness.
And, yeah, so I think there was some question brought up that, well, that DRA is on the golf course, that should be the golf course. No, a DRA is a DRA. And that's the way I see it.
Absolutely.
Because the water's going from the streets to all of them, whether they're on the golf course or not. So,
Steve, I think the confusion there is that, some DRAs are mowed by the golf course
Yeah.
maintenance and some are mowed by the other folks.
Right.
But DRAs, the actual structure is for the entire
It's
community.
part of the community,
It's all the
absolutely.
same.
It is
So-
not unique to the golf course.
there's money available, and, yeah, so. Are you gonna prioritize the ones today? Is that the plan for the next meeting, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I look at this one, I thought this one was be the top priority. We have,
And we're gonna add to it the clean out.
right,
The
Okay.
outflow of that,
Outflow.
of the road, yeah.
I'll get a new estimate for that and include the outflow there. The
Okay.
drain across the road, and then in the DRA itself, when the water's supposed to drain into the DRA, it's all like a big old giant
Yeah.
pile of debris now. And so
Right.
we're gonna clean that out.
It's
Okay,
washed the
so we're
sand
clear
there.
on what I need to ask for it.
okay. Then the next item is estimate number 945, which is the depression that's behind the Veterans Park, where we've had a drainage pipe that's collapsed back there. So this estimate addresses taking care of that, repairing that pipe. Have everything we need for that for the board meeting?
I think so, yeah. Again, it needs to be done.
Do you know where that pipe runs from, Jeff?
Yeah, if you look in our as-built drawings for the community, the golf parking lot and restaurant parking lot, all the storm drains there actually circle around the golf cart barn area and then flow through the Veterans Memorial Park area there, and then the outfall behind the Grand
So
Hall.
they circle around
DR
the building. Oh,
It circles all the way around the building.
it's different.
That drain at that DRA at the back, up above where the actual drain pipe is, there's a big depression
Yeah,
there.
that's,
That is part of this as
that
well?
is,
'Cause
I
that's-
believe that's part of 943
Okay.
estimate.
That is exactly, it's included in 943. The reason he bid 943 is we have several different issues all over, and he was gonna give you a price to address the quantity of all these different repairs that he had to make. And so over here in 943, that sort of washout would be addressed. And then there's some other areas where the drains are stopped up. I think it's over
All over the place.
by 12, 13 or something like that. There's a drain that's not flowing properly. And so he's saying he would clear out, just go through the entire community, spend about 2 weeks and clear everything out.
So Jeff, a question I have is, on 943, if we were to move it to a approval vote next meeting, I mean, all of these are really tied to DRA maintenance.
Right.
You agree?
I agree, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah.
I'm trying to question what his method is in 943. It says clean outside, inside of drains, MES. I don't know what that means.
Mitered end section. So it's
What's that mean?
It's there's the corrugated pipe, and then there's a poured concrete, and it's on an angle, so
Right.
they refer to it as a mitered end section. So
Okay,
it's the
that's what that
outfall from the storm drains.
Okay, mitered end section. Okay, I didn't know what that abbreviation meant.
So there's,
What outside and inside of drains? I mean, exactly, I mean, somebody circled need to know on here.
oh, because I went and asked him, and he responded, and then I sent an email back to you guys about that, because we asked, is he going in there with a vacuum or something? Well, obviously, for the cost that he's giving you, he's not. He's going and addressing each one of those DRAs, cleaning all of that riprap, going in that mitered section, cleaning all of that out, and then going to some other sections, like I said, over on 12, I think. There's an area that's just puddled water for some reason, and he feels that there's a clog down in there. So he would get in that drain line and then try to clear it out through the mitered section.
So everything's in the DRAs. It's not in the it's not in the street basins.
No.
No.
work in the street basin.
No.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
just in the DRAs.
That's what I didn't
And
understand.
I don't know how far back he'd get. He might be able to get back, 5, 10 feet max
Got
at the very end section. And then the comment that I saw him say is, when you have a heavy rainstorm, what's from the catch basin up towards that last section that he didn't get cleaned out, that would all eventually get flushed by the storm drains. Just the rush of the water would flush it out.
He has come and he has looked and inspected. He's driven out. He doesn't think we have any major issues. This is just all cleanup. This kind of thing probably doesn't need to be done, but maybe every 10 years or whatever. I don't know that it's
Probably
ever.
never been done.
Right. So he's saying, right now, it's not a major issue. We can do all this for you, clean it all up. But this cost is not like hiring an engineering company that'll come and blow everything out. That's not what it is. This is him getting in those pipes, just like he did when he came back here. He literally picked up the drain and he crawled in the pipe. So, this is a much more affordable cost. He does the sinkholes at a much more affordable cost because that's the way he does stuff over in the villages as well.
He crawled up that drain all the way to that sinkhole?
So-
I mean, that,
So he opened the drain and I saw him. He went in that hole and I could see his feet and he looked in there with a flashlight and he could see where it was collapsed.
he's quite the guy then.
Yeah, that's what he does. So
Tunnel rat.
So for the board meeting, he says approximately 60 drains. Steve, I see you have a copy of the map there.
Yeah.
Can you have a map marked up for us so we know exactly which 60 areas he's going to do?
yep, I could definitely have him do that. I
that-
sent him our drainage plans, our water management drainage plans. That's what I sent to him so he could see everything. So I don't think he'd have a problem marking up the
Okay.
ones.
All right.
Should this item perhaps go on a checklist to perhaps add to the next version of the reserve study? If, do something like this on a, every 10-year kind of basis rather than have it jump up? I don't know whether it's really estimable or not. We might consider it.
Yeah, I don't know. We've been budgeting money for DRA maintenance, so this.
Pretty heavily since we had some
Yeah,
big
so
issues
that
with the
includes, if we have an actual sinkhole, but it should include regular DRA maintenance items as well, which this would be, but it's not an annual thing.
Yeah, you can't do a spray, you certainly can't do a sinkhole because you can't predict the occurrence of them. But if something like, if it comes to the conclusion that something like this should be done, every 10 years or every 8 years or something, and you can estimate it, then it would seem to have the kind of characteristics that you could reserve for.
Yeah, in our operating budget, if, what we could do is say, okay, if you just use the original construction phases, we got phase 1 through 6, we could say, phase 1, drains will do 1 year, phase 2, another year. I don't know how cost effective that would be as opposed to doing them all at the same time.
Perhaps. Yeah.
But, right now, for this year, I think it's
Yeah,
appropriate
this
to be
year.
charged to
Yeah.
the DRA account.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agreed.
All right, any other comments on that? Okay, the last item on our agenda.
Sorry, Jeff, one moment.
Oops, you go.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. So if you are considering approving 943, then I don't need to add cleaning of the drain and the DRA for 944. We don't want to double pay. He had it included in this last one. I can make sure that he,
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
okay, got it.
You know, if we didn't approve 943, then we'd want that added to 944 or whatever.
I get it, yeah.
Okay, so next one up is related to the emulsion treatments that we're going to be doing in various places throughout the community. The first thing up is there's some street repairs that are going to be done. Nothing earth-shattering about that, no special planning. And that's going to be done, is Russ still on the phone?
No, he dropped off.
Okay. I can't remember the exact date. It's coming up shortly though, right? I think it's like August 8th or something like that. There's like 4 or 5 different places that they're going to do some repairs.
Correct.
Okay. The next big item, or the first really big item, is the RV parking lot emulsion treatment. So this is where we're going to have to close the RV park for a period of time. So that project includes the RV parking lot itself, the softball parking lot, and the roadway that leads up to the main gate for the RV lot, and then the back roadway between the RV lot and the dog parks. So that would all be done as one single project. It's tentatively scheduled right now to start, that project to start on August 18th, which is a Tuesday.
I did have a question for you. Someone did ask me, is that road in the back all the way, the back of the RV park, does it go all the way through in front of the dog parks as well? Or is it just goes to the dog park?
It stops before the dog park.
Okay, thank you. That's what I needed to know because we needed to know about, you
No,
know.
it's paved the whole way.
Pardon me?
It's
No, it
paved the
goes all
whole
the
way.
It's paved all the way up to the dog park.
It is paved.
Well,
I mean, that's
if
what
you
they're
go
gonna
out the
do.
back gate of the RV lot,
Yeah.
and you go up, there's the empty field on your left-hand side, then you come up to the large dog park, then it makes that big right-hand turn.
It's paved
It's
roadway
paved
all the way.
all the way up,
All the way, yeah.
all the way to 13 Circle.
All
Yes,
right, so
that's right.
so then we will have to close the dog parks as well for a 24-hour period when they treat that road, correct?
Well, that,
That was-
Sure.
see,
Okay, I just wanted to put signs up, but I didn't know how far they went up with the treatment, and I needed to clarify that. I have a letter that I've drafted up, a rough draft for the board to see and be able to, you know, add information if needed. And I'll send that to you today, that's going out to everyone. But I wasn't sure on the map if it was that entire road or not, and that's something that I
Well,
need to
it's
clarify.
closed to traffic. So if somebody wants to walk their dog up to the dog park, as long as they don't have to tread across the emulsion treatment that was just been laid down, there's no reason why they can't walk their dogs up to the dog park. Can't take any vehicles up there, though. No golf carts, no cars driving on the roadway.
when they were out looking at the pavement, I believe they stopped at the dog park because Russ and I thought the other phase would be phase whatever that, phase 3.
Okay, yeah, so I don't have the drawings here in
Yeah,
front of
you
me to
do.
show the
We have
map
to
that
find
shows
out.
what's, whether they're gonna,
Go all the way
which,
around.
but they're gonna do that phase as well, so.
So you want them to go all the way up to the next road?
Well, just, it's, with all the projects gonna be, that we've already approved to do this year, that road, that entire roadway, all the way up to 13th Circle where the lift station is there by the small dog park, that will all be done. Whether it's done part of the RV lot timing or
Okay.
the rest of the roadway timing,
All right.
it will be done this year.
Okay.
Right. Because the whole north end gets done.
So that may make life easier if we made it part of the roadway treatment, like we're 13th Circle. Everybody would still be able to access the dog park. You'd still be able to access the grassy area if you have. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me finish what notes I had here. So projects are scheduled to start on August 18th. So all vehicles are going to have to be removed from the RV lot by no later than August 17th. So we need to get letters out and communicate to everybody that's registered with a RV in the, any kind of vehicle in the RV lot, that it's going to have to be out of there by the 17th. The project, the prep work and actual PDC application is 1 or 2 days. And then the restriping of the RV lot, they say we restripe typically takes place 7 to 10 days after the PDC application, is what they said in their quote. Now we have to get clarification on that. But based on that, so prep work of 1 to 2 days, and the application, prep work and application 1 to 2 days, and then a 7 to 10 day delay before they do the restriping. The RV lot potentially could be, need to be remain unoccupied for anywhere from 8 to 12 days, potentially. Not just 24 or 48 hours. So we need to come up with potential temporary storage locations where if somebody have their RV and they're traveling somewhere and they have it here in storage within the community, we're gonna have to come up with some alternate storage locations. So I did a quick look. The grass area between the RV lot and large dog park area, it depends how you want to pack them in there. I mean, if we want to, front end to back end and not get the vehicle out for that 8 to 12 period of time, we can get a lot more in. If we need to maintain a roadway through there where people, if they want to take their RV out, they can get out without having 5 other people move their RV, then it looks like it may be limited to maybe about 30 spaces. Be a lot more if we're able to pack them all in, but if we need to have access where people can take their RV out, probably only going to get about 30 in there. Right across the roadway from the grassy area in behind the homes there's a grass strip there. It's not real wide, but it's probably fine for the smaller cargo trailers and things like that, but you're only going to fit about 10 vehicles there. And then after that, the next option would be to allow homeowners to park their unit in their driveway during this period of time, potentially up to 8 to 12 days, park it in their driveway.
One comment I would have, I mean, if we say that everything has to be out by the 17th, that doesn't give any leeway at all. I mean, to me, that weekend should be the end-all, tell-all of getting everything out.
Well, true.
15th or 16th, and then who's going to manage is it going to be a free-for-all? You go get your piece and take it over there and just put it where you want it, or is...
No, we're going to
Somebody's
decide,
going to have to manage this, or it's just going to be it's going to be a bit of a show.
we're certainly going to have to ask RV owners to have some flexibility here. And
That'll all be done by then.
no,
Nope.
it's in the RV lot and he's out of town.
Oh, okay.
gotta be
So we've sent an email out, and we've already gotten some responses from snowbirds, and we've asked that they communicate with a neighbor or a friend or someone that can move the RV for them. And so we're starting to get response. So we've already sent out an email notification. We just want to send something in writing as well for those who may have missed it. We'll send something again. So the letter that we're writing, we'll send it via email, we'll post it, we'll post signs, and then we'll also put it in the mail ASAP tomorrow. We're mailing everything out as soon as the board approves the letter, and hopefully we'll be able to get all that.
And in previous meetings, we've talked about this project coming up, and we said that once we have dates from Asphalt Restoration Services, we would communicate that to the community, but we said it would probably be sometime in late summer. So we now have the dates, so we're now communicating that with the dates. But we did let the community know that this project was coming up, and it was going to be sometime in late summer.
I think I agree with Steve. I think the drop dead date for homeowners to get their stuff out would be Friday before the weekend. Because if you need to tow, you gotta give a towing company time to do their thing. They,
Okay,
Yeah,
I can do that.
you know, that makes sense.
The 15th, Steve?
Was that the Friday?
No, that Friday 15th,
Look,
okay.
we all know what's going to happen. Most likely,
Yes.
there'll be eight things left in the lot, and nobody's going to know what to do with them.
Right, so one option is, I wanted to put on the letter that if someone cannot get anyone, we could have the vehicles towed, but they would have to give consent for that, and then I didn't know if the owner would have to pay or if the association would pay. So obviously, it's not like, oh, we're gonna tow everybody. We need everyone that can to move it. We do have a couple of units that seem to be abandoned. So those we know, if we do not get a response, they will be towed by the tow company. The tow company will try to locate those individuals, but we have tried sending emails, alerting the public, alerting the community, and we have not gotten any responses as to who they belong to. So we don't have a choice but to have them towed.
Are we on, no, we're on absolutely solid ground that we know what our rights would be in, you know, towing somebody's vehicle who we just never heard from or refused to do it or something? So
Yes,
that-
sir, I got to post a 48-hour notice on their vehicle. So we have these big giant green stickers, and we stick it on the vehicle, and then we try to communicate every which way we can. But if we don't have an email or a phone number or a name even,
Well, I think what Bill's alluding to is, we send out the letter, so we have, here's a registered list of everybody that's in the RV
Yes.
lot. We send out a note to them, and they respond back, say, I'm out of the country, I'm in Europe, I'm in wherever, I'm not gonna be back in time, nobody has keys to my unit, I can't move it. What rights do we as a homeowners association have at that point to have the vehicle towed?
Yeah, what kind of liability do we have if we decide, oh, we're gonna, the guy never responded to us, whatever, but, so we're gonna tow his unit?
so we.
What
so-
kind of liability do we assume if we hire a towing company to come in and move someone's unit and there's a problem? I think we have to be very, very clear that, that we have the right to do whatever we decide is the most practical thing to do, because the risk versus reward here is tilted very badly if we have a problem versus, you know, the benefit of using the emulsion treatment on that piece of property. We
Let me
should
double-
not be assuming any meaningful risk to just to get that done, and we really need to find out just exactly what kind of risk do we have, if any, to move someone else's property.
Well, the best thing to do is just get an opinion from our attorney.
I'll get an opinion from the attorney, but from what I'm understanding is if proper notice is given, then we're not moving. It's not like I'm sending Tony and having him tow. We're actually the professional towing company that does towing in our community. They would assume the responsibility. The deal here is also about cost. Who's going to pay the cost of the towing? Is it that owner's fault that we're doing this project, or is it the association that's going to assume the cost of the towing as well? I don't know. These are things that are not answered right now.
It's an amenity that the homeowners association is responsible for maintaining. At times, we have to close those amenities to do the maintenance. So, you're right, I mean, we gotta figure out exactly what is our liability if it gets to hopefully we don't get to the point where it has to be towed.
Yeah, well, let us review the docs, the RV policy. Let's just kind of double check what's going on. If we need to get Tony involved, or Toby involved, we can certainly do that for his opinion. Yeah. But yeah, I've done these in the past, and there usually ends up being one or two at least that you've got to have the tow truck handy. So yes, on Steve's suggestion, yeah, let's give ourselves enough lead time, because.
And to your answer in the audience, that Can your brother just send you the key?
It's possible, but it's just one example of the few people here. And
Sure.
less than 30 days notice, I just think it needs to be. I mean, I don't know why it can't be the 6 months when all snowbirds are back, and then you've given plenty notice and it gives you time to make sure everybody's been contacted and you've gotten a yes, I can move it by this date, and then you got a plan. Less than 30 days, I just think is not enough.
Well, that's what we're stuck with because the plan with the company that's doing the work has a time frame that they're fitting us in too. So we just didn't have enough time for 30, 45 days in advance.
Well, and as I said before, we gave the community heads up. We didn't have firm dates, but we gave,
Now, unfortunately, the clock is ticking, and we're within a 30-day window now.
Right.
That's, that's,
Okay.
We'll work on this today, okay? We'll check with the attorney. As far as I know, the notice, just like for meetings or anything else, the longest notice time is 14 days for just about anything, and that has to do with budget. We're giving that notice, that amount of time. If anything, it's going to be really hard on our end, and we will need the RV club to help us out, maybe roping off and doing some things because it's going to be a big project to get everybody in the right place in time for them to come in and do the work.
okay, any other discussion on this? All right, I don't know, we're going to have something where we can put out an email blast tomorrow. Do you think we'll have an answer in time for that?
I'll have something for you today. As soon as this meeting's over, I'm headed over there.
Yeah.
I'll add, I did not, we're changing
But-
the date to the 15th and.
So very quickly, I mean, we need to, everybody that has a unit registered in the RV
Yes.
lot, we need to have some kind of confirmation back from
Yes.
them that they're aware of what's going on.
Yes.
And here is their plan for getting their
Yes.
vehicle out of the RV lot.
Yes. So I have a few changes to make to the letter. And then once you guys approve that, I'll send it to you. Jeff, once you look at it, make sure that I've got all the dates correct and everything else, then we'll get this out like today. We've already sent an email out, but we gave them the 17th date. Now we need to go ahead and tighten that up to the 15th, okay? And the majority of the people that are moving theirs that aren't here are saying, hey, we're not going to be here during that time, so we're going to have to move it early. So that RV is going to go over to the grassy area on the 10th, and we're like, okay, no problem. So it's going to, that grassy area and that strip, which I did not think about and did not include in the letter, I need to add that. Those areas can be, people can start moving them as soon as, they're able to.
No, not as soon as they're able to, because we have to have a plan. Like I said, if people say, well, I can move it to the grassy area, but I want to be able to get into it and drive, I want to take a weekend trip or whatever, then we have to maintain a roadway if that's the case.
No,
So if people are willing to let us pull the first one in, pull a second one in right behind it, and then right behind that, and so on, we can get a lot more into the space. But if we have to maintain a roadway, the number of spaces drops dramatically once you have to maintain a roadway and be able to maneuver those big rigs around.
What I'm saying is there are folks that need to move theirs into that area on the 10th. At that time, I've asked them, don't just move it, call us, we'll come over, we'll help you get into the correct area and let us know what your plans are. But they're going to be out of town, they're not going to need their RV, but they're going to have to move it because they're not going to be here during the project.
You could also move into your driveway at any
Yes,
time, right?
anytime.
So I did.
Anytime with a driveway.
Right, so I did put that on there.
Between now and then.
Yep, so, okay, all right, well, help me out when I send this letter, because there's gonna be some things that you're gonna have to, pinpoint.
Jeff, I have a quick thought. I know that the emulsion company's going to be here for an extended period of time doing all the roads and everything. This part is first.
Yes.
What if we take this part and make it last, do the roads and the streets first, and then that gives more time for I'm just making a suggestion.
We can do that.
The problem with doing it last is that that would take it into where the roads are being done.
You didn't understand.
I did understand.
Switch it.
Yeah,
Do
I
the-
understand.
Do the
what you're
roads
saying.
first, get all
Yeah.
those finished,
Yeah,
and then,
You could, you
Then do the
would
RV
be
lot
driving
last.
your RV over the treated roads and
Yeah.
you'd start to track.
it's, the RV
Yeah,
work is so
worse.
big, it's gonna be done in stages. Then you gotta wait 10 days or so to stripe it. Then you need so many days to do it, before you even get anything back in.
okay, yeah.
So that's the
instance,
reason they wanna get it done first.
Right.
And
And if you
then
live, yeah, you're
they're
right.
Because of
done.
the striping. The striping is the
it
big thing.
just drags it
All right,
out.
Makes sense.
I mean, we went through all that with Russ and the company.
Okay.
And Dan, to your point, if your RV, if you lived on the north end and they were gonna do the road, and then you took your RV and put it in your driveway, you're gonna track the black and
Exactly,
so,
exactly.
yeah.
I have one more
It makes sense to
question.
do the RV lot first.
One more question. So the RV lot is not only striped, it is also numbered. Is the
Right.
numbering the association's responsibility? So that means I need to get our maintenance people out there number, or do they number as well, Dan?
They said as long as we provide them a map, they will restripe and renumber.
Whew, thank you.
And then it only needs a day to dry. The striping and the paint.
Oh, yeah. And then you gotta worry about weather.
Okay.
True.
Okay,
While we're talking about the roads, one thing I want to mention that when Russ gets back, we're going to have quite a few volunteers to do this project. And we have to have a sit down, we have to have 1 or 2 meetings with the volunteers.
so
We-
direct traffic.
To direct traffic. We ask you to work about 4 hours, 4 in the morning, then we get another crew to come in 4 in the afternoon. And we'll have walkie-talkies. So we definitely have to have an organizational meeting with our volunteers. So we'll set that up probably next week or so, when Russ gets back. That's all we got.
Dan, do we reach out to CERT to help as volunteers, or do we just reach out to
Search
volunteers?
gives us all the walkie-talkies.
Okay. How about whistles and badges?
Yeah,
Okay. So that concludes our agenda items. Go around the table. Any director input on any items? Steve?
One comment I have is, I know it was discussed earlier, a couple, 3 weeks ago, about cleaning up the growth around the edge of the pond again. What, can you update on that?
They're going to be here tomorrow.
And what are they gonna do?
So I don't know what their process is, but these are the pond maintenance people, Solitude, that they take care of and follow whatever the water management people allow them to do. And I asked them and they said, well, there's a lot of growth because of all the rain and it's just popped up, but we're gonna be there Friday. So I will send an email out today to my contact and make sure that they know they have to be here tomorrow.
Okay. Because, I mean, it's getting, they're like little saplings now. It's
Oh,
not
I know.
weeds anymore. They're like little trees growing.
I did tell
We'll be
them
trimming
that.
them.
I did tell them that, and so they're aware that it's bad, and so they're prepared to take care of it. But I'll call today and say, hey, look, spraying is not going to be enough. I need to see you cut some stuff
Don't
away.
show up with a string trimmer, because I don't think that's gonna fly.
That's correct.
Chainsaw.
Gonna need at least a
Okay.
bow saw.
Yeah.
All right, I'll keep you posted as to what their response is so that you can get, confirmation of that.
Okay.
That's all.
Nothing, no, I'm worn out.
Dan?
nothing, no.
Nothing.
Bill?
Got one little one.
Okay.
Just a personal little observation. Between the small dog park and the large dog park, sitting right off the side of the road, is a wooden sign post with a provision for small areas to put some kind of posting in there. The damn thing has been tilted at about a 30-degree angle since I've been here for 10 years, and I've never seen anything posted in the little box where you post a sign. Can you get the maintenance guys to either straighten it or make it go away?
Well, first of all, do we really need that there?
Well, that's
The
what
reason-
Bill's saying. Either straighten it or remove it.
I
So
think, well, what I'm saying is, I've never posted anything there, so if it's not a required item, we can just remove it.
Yeah, there's no
We
reason
can
to keep
post
it.
the RV lot's gonna be closed.
Yeah, it's,
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
get the maintenance folks to remove it. That's what we'll do. because it gets hit. That's why.
Is there anybody that kind of represents the large dog park and the small dog park that's
There
kind
are
of
some-
spokesperson?
It's just it's out between them. It's got really nothing to do with
Okay.
the dog
Yeah.
parks. It just sits there by the side of the road. It's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it's an item that could be used if we wanted to, but right now, it's just got nothing in it, and it's kind of limping over, so it doesn't look very good.
Okay.
So let's remove it first, and then see if if we can save it. If we can save it, then we'll talk about using it in a different way.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so the next board meeting is August 13th, and the board workshop tentatively for August 27th. With that, a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, say no. Okay, meeting adjourned. We'll open up the floor now for homeowner comments.
Alta Gustafson, Lot 313.
Hang on.
Wait.
Diane's going to help you out there.
I know, I don't want to touch it. Thank you. Just go a little closer. Okay. Alta Gustafson, Lot 313. I have a suggestion. Since we don't recycle here, and we haven't for, I think, 8-10 years, why do we have their big, heavy truck coming twice a month throughout the whole community? It's all going into the landfill. So, to help maintain those roads, which I think you've done a super job, this would keep one big truck off our roads that comes every 2 weeks. That's my suggestion. I hope you take that in consideration. They don't have curbside recycling anywhere in Marion County now. Ocala just gave it up too.
Good morning, Barbara Gaynor, lot 1015. I just have one question. The RVs are locked up in that chain gate. What happens when they're going to be on the grass? Is there going to be any, what are we going to do about that? I don't own an RV, but I'm just wondering, because I know they're worth quite a bit of money.
We're gonna add a camera back there.
Okay.
That's the only thing we could possibly do, just add a camera to try to cover that area, at least to try to keep it a
Yeah,
little bit
because,
safe.
we have people that just come over the fence, and just do their business over there. So I just want to make sure that those RVs are safe. Thank you.
Good morning, Michael Cardillo, Lot 273. Just a point of clarification for me. When we were talking about the DRA cleanouts a while ago, a couple years ago, there was an assessment done drainage and erosion on the golf course. Is this part of that project, or is it separate from?
It started because of that project. I had folks from that project that approached me and said, are we ever doing anything? Are we ever doing anything? So I did, when we first had a sinkhole and this gentleman came and took care of it, I said, can you just take a look around? And he said, yeah, you've got some things that need to be addressed, nothing horrible. And so now, because we have a second sinkhole and a DRA issue just right across over there, I said to him, can you give us a quote to clean up those issues? And that's when so it really does. I gave him the map, I gave him the findings of the committee and everything else. And so he's working off of that information as well as him inspecting these areas.
Okay, so thank you.
Thomas Allman, Lot 378. I talked to one of the board members a while back, and I have a slight problem. For the last 5 months, 4 months, I need to know, how many dogs are you allowed to have in your house? Is there a limit?
I believe our documents say 2 dogs is what people should have, and there is a weight type of thing too, but The problem is if somebody brings another dog into their home and I don't know about it, how am I supposed to know about it?
Well, how about a lady that signs in for 2 dogs and she brings 4? The day she signed in for 2 dogs, she had 4. She lives right next to me on 379. She never takes the dogs outside. The dogs are always in the house. They only go outside to the lanai, which she put down astroturf, and that's where they do their business at. And so who do you think gets all the smell coming over to my place? And I got a big lanai, and I entertain out there a lot in the fall and the winter. Summertime I don't because it's too hot. But we get all that nice smell over there when I invite people over to my house to eat.
I think this has already been addressed with her once, and so she will get addressed with it again. I do believe these other dogs are...
She has 4 dogs.
Yeah, but they're handicapped or something, and that's why...
None of them are anything. I think she got them all out of a pound.
Well,
and it's decided what to do. I mean, you know.
Well, my point is a letter has been sent. Actually, I think 2 letters have been sent. And so we're working on a process that if a correction is not made, then we will have a process going forward. So we're working on the final step of that.
Yeah. Well, when she moved in, the first thing she did, she put a dog park up out there, which was illegal for them to get out and play in. And it took the thing about 3 weeks to get her to answer the letter. Matter of fact, I had to go up and tell them, you better call her about the letter because it's still in the little box and she's not going to pick it up. And so just as soon as she come and got it, she took the dog, the pins down right away. But then she put that out there, and then that's what you've got now.
So the letters go into the box, but they're also mailed to the individual. So yeah, they go out every 14 days. So this is something that obviously has to be addressed. It has to go to the next step.
Okay. And go back to your moving all your campers and stuff. Set it up so that you're worried about if somebody wants to get out, get out, get out. Put the ones that don't want to move in the back row. And then have the guys put the ones that might want to get out in the front row so they can get out and hit the lane. See how easy that's going to be?
Well, the issue, I think, is people that aren't here. So whether they move it to one of the designated spots or to a different location within the RV lot, if they're not here, who's going to move the unit?
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about, you're talking about that somebody might want to leave. But I also heard you say that, how long are you going to have the parking lot shut down?
8 to 12 days.
8 to 12 days.
Potentially 8 to 12 days.
All right, that's the parking lot. Well, does that road that comes out the back of parking lot, is that going to be 8 to 12 days also?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
just probably 48 to 72 hours probably.
Okay. But anyway, like I said, whenever you move them out of there, just put the ones that's not going any place to the far to back.
Okay,
Then the
I see
ones
what
that
you're
say
saying.
that they might want to leave, put them up front.
Yeah.
That would be your easy solution you got.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
It's going to take some coordination, but hopefully we'll get everybody to cooperate. Yeah, yeah.
We've decided good luck in getting volunteers to direct all that traffic because it's going to be a mess out there. And totally apart from that. Oh, yeah. You're going to have to schedule people as to when to move their. That's not why I'm up here to talk. I'm up here to talk. There was some discussion, in terms of priorities, and there was discussion about, for instance, the door locks in the RSO being a higher priority than restrooms. I'd be interested to know, is the board also looking at resolving the issue of the door locks in this hall, mainly being that the proximity cards do not work. Not that people need to get in after hours, but for instance, my husband and I do go out quite a bit in the evenings, and we come back and it's usually after 10 o'clock, after the doors are locked, but that's when we stop at the RSO to get our mail. And I don't know how many times that we've driven up here and the lights are on in the library. And there's part of me says, well, okay, somebody must have just forgotten to turn them off. And one day it occurred to me, it's like, for all I know, somebody could be lying on the floor. Had a medical incident and I can't see, blinds are closed, but the lights are on, can't get in there. Is this part of the priority? And the other is the security cameras. we keep saying we have cameras, and then when I go to inquire about something, it's like, oh, well, that camera doesn't seem to work anymore, or I think we got it unplugged, or, who knows. Has the board considered going back and having what we used to call either coffee and convo or town hall, where we kind of learn as residents, what are the big projects? What are the priorities? What really are we looking at to address with our community? So that's really my request, that the board please consider some sort of, communication that would be a two-way communication to identify maybe what some of the priorities are. Thank you.
Okay, looks like that completes our resident input. So thank you.